4 astronauts strapped into a capsule more powerful than anything humanity has launched in half a century, hurtling toward the far side of the moon at thousands of miles per hour. It's not science fiction. It's happening in just a few weeks. And this mission, it's going to change everything we know about deep space exploration. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're about to dive deep into one of the most ambitious space missions of our generation, Artemis 2. This isn't just another satellite launch or space station resupply. This is humanity's grand return to lunar exploration after more than 50 years of waiting. So buckle up because we're breaking this down into 3 fascinating parts: the hardware that'll get them there, the journey itself, and the exceptional people risking it all to push the boundaries of human exploration. Let's start with the beast of a rocket that's going to make this possible. NASA's Space Launch System, or SLS for short, is an absolute monster. Think of it as the space shuttle's bigger, stronger cousin. It's got twin solid rocket boosters mounted on either side, reminiscent of the shuttle era, with a massive orange central core stage providing the main thrust. But here's something special about this particular launch. Those boosters are decorated with enormous America 250 logos, commemorating the United States' 251st birthday in 2026. It's a fitting tribute, especially when you consider that engineers from all 50 states contributed to building this technological marvel. Sitting on top of the main rocket is something called the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, which is basically a boost engine that helps push everything beyond Earth's orbit. But the real star of this show is Orion, the spacecraft where our astronauts will spend their entire journey. Orion is essentially made up of 3 critical components. At the base, you've got the European Service Module, which handles power generation and maneuvering. Think of it as the engine room. Above that sits the Crew Module, which the astronauts have named Integrity. This is where they'll live, work, eat, sleep, and handle every aspect of their 10-day adventure. And here's the thing. When they come screaming back through Earth's atmosphere, this crew capsule is the only piece that survives the journey home. Everything else either burns up or gets discarded along the way. There's also a launch abort system sitting at the very top, basically an emergency escape rocket. Let's hope they never need it, but if something goes catastrophically wrong during launch, this system can yank the crew capsule away from the rest of the rocket and potentially save 4 lives. Now let's talk about what makes this mission so crucial. Artemis 1, which flew back in 2022, was a spectacular success, but it flew empty. No crew, just instruments and mannequins collecting data. Artemis 2 takes everything to the next level by putting actual human beings in that capsule. This means testing all the life support systems, communication arrays, radiation shielding, and 1,000 other human-centric features that you can't fully evaluate without people on board. The crew will test everything from meal preparation to waste management. Yes, even the space toilet needs field testing. They'll exercise using specially designed resistance equipment to keep their muscles and bones healthy in microgravity. They'll practice docking procedures that will be essential for future missions to the Lunar Gateway Station and landing modules. Every system, every procedure, every contingency plan gets a real-world shakedown during this flight. The launch itself is scheduled for as early as February 6, 2026, from Kennedy Space Center's historic Launch Complex 39B, the same pad that sent Apollo 10 moonward in the 60s and countless shuttle missions into orbit. When that countdown reaches 0, we'll witness the most powerful crewed rocket launch in human history. Here's how the mission unfolds. 2 minutes after liftoff, the solid boosters exhaust their fuel and fall away, along with the launch abort system. 8 minutes in, the core stage shuts down and separates, having burned through its massive fuel tanks. The upper stage kicks in for the final push into orbit. After 2 engine burns, Orion settles into an elliptical orbit that takes it as far as 46,000 miles from Earth on one end and as close as 115 miles on the other. During that first orbital day, the crew separates from the upper stage and begins practicing rendezvous and docking maneuvers. This might sound routine, but it's absolutely critical. Remember the Starliner spacecraft that left 2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station for months? That happened because of thruster problems. NASA needs absolute confidence that Orion's propulsion system performs flawlessly before committing to more complex missions. After completing their Earth orbit tests, Orion fires its engine for what's called the Trans-Lunar Injection burn. This is the big one, the final acceleration that sends them on a path to the moon. And here's the clever part. They're using what's called a free return trajectory. Basically, the combined gravity of Earth and the moon will naturally pull them back home, even if every engine fails. It's the same flight profile that saved the Apollo 13 crew when their spacecraft was crippled. For a test mission, this built-in safety margin is invaluable. The journey to the moon takes about 4 days. During this time, the crew runs through emergency procedures, including protocols for major radiation events. See, deep space radiation is one of the biggest challenges for lunar and Mars missions. Orion has a designated radiation shelter area, and this mission provides the first opportunity to see how effective it really is when humans are actually using it. Now, it should be clarified something important. Artemis 2 is not a landing mission. Nobody's walking on the moon this time around. Think of it more like Apollo 8, the famous Christmas Eve lunar orbit mission from 1968. The crew will fly to the far side of the moon, that mysterious hemisphere we never see from Earth, coming within about 2,900 miles of the lunar surface. They'll have unprecedented views of both the moon and Earth from a vantage point no human has experienced in over 5 decades. After their lunar flyby, the crew makes any necessary course corrections to ensure they hit their landing zone precisely. 4 days later, the Integrity Crew module separates from the service module and plunges back through Earth's atmosphere for a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. Navy picks them up, and their 10-day mission concludes. Let's talk about the extraordinary people making this journey. 4 astronauts have been selected for Artemis 2: Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. These aren't just skilled pilots and engineers. They represent some of the most accomplished individuals in their fields. Reid Wiseman commands the mission. He's a 27-year Navy veteran with 167 days of spaceflight experience already under his belt. He's not just a pilot and engineer. He's been an astronaut since 2009, bringing invaluable experience to this critical test flight. Victor Glover serves as pilot, a test pilot with combat experience from Operation Iraqi Freedom. He's flown 40 different aircraft types across 24 combat missions. He also served as a legislative fellow with the U.S. Senate and has been part of NASA's astronaut corps since 2013. His diverse background makes him perfectly suited for this role. Christina Koch is one of the mission specialists, an electrical engineer who's worked on major scientific programs for both NASA and NOAA. She's also an Antarctic explorer and firefighter. She holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman, nearly a full year aboard the International Space Station. She's been an astronaut since 2013 and brings crucial, long-duration spaceflight experience to the crew. Jeremy Hansen rounds out the team as the other mission specialist. He's a Canadian Space Agency astronaut, a fighter pilot, physicist, and colonel in the Canadian military. He earned his pilot's license at 16 and became a firefighting pilot for the Royal Canadian Air Force. In 2017, he became the first Canadian astronaut to lead a NASA astronaut class. And here's the amazing part. Artemis 2 will be Hansen's very first spaceflight. Talk about starting with a bang. Together, these four represent the best of international space cooperation and human achievement. They'll test every system, validate every procedure, and pave the way for the Artemis 3 mission that will actually land humans on the lunar surface. So when does this all happen? The launch window opens February 6, 2026. Now, Artemis 1 needed a couple of attempts before everything checked out perfectly, but that patience resulted in a flawless mission. With actual human lives on the line this time, expect NASA to be even more cautious. Don't be surprised if we see a few scrubbed launches before everything is absolutely perfect. That's not a problem. That's professional diligence. This mission represents more than just a test flight. It's humanity reclaiming our place as explorers of the cosmos. It's the bridge between the Apollo era and a sustainable lunar presence. It's four exceptional people carrying the dreams of billions on a journey that seemed impossible just a few years ago. If this video got you as excited about Artemis 2, smash that like button and share it with your space-loving friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our coverage of the actual launch and mission updates. Drop a comment below and let me know which aspect of Artemis 2 you find most fascinating. Are you more excited about the technology, the scientific possibilities, or the incredible people making it happen? Thanks for watching, and remember, we're living in an era when humans are once again reaching for the moon. What an incredible time to be alive.